Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Dog Mod Fest featuring Dr. London Smith. The only show where the dogs get modified and the points don't matter. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Doc Podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the overuse of complicated medical terminology, such as fitness regimen, cheat day, and leap day. So I will try to tone that down in the future. Here to help with that is our producer Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London. Wait, what are you calling this show?
It's the Jock Doc Podcast.
The what? Say it again.
Okay,
say it slower. Slow it down.
Jock.
What?
Do you want me to keep going? Yeah, the Jock Doc
What?
Podcast.
What? This is
what's the problem?
This entire time I thought it was the Jock Dog Mod Fest.
Why did you think that?
I mean, it just sort of seemed like a lot of the stuff we talked about on the show seemed relevant to the interest of, like French dog owners who would modify their dog. We talk about that so much. That's like primarily what's discussed.
Yes.
See, I thought it was more of a focus on science and medicine, and fitness,
Well, I thought all the like science and medicine talk was about modifying animals. Their genetics, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
Well, no.
What am I supposed to do with I've been buying up all these dogs.
Oh no. You've been buying just lots of dogs?
Yeah, like French dogs, or kind of French-looking dogs, or dogs who are, curious about French food. I've been acquiring these dogs because I was thinking, like, maybe in our second year we can start pushing them for merch.
See,
you go to one of our live recordings and you come away with a French poodle. Isn't that better than a T-shirt?
Yes.
A poster?
Well,
a button?
It sounds...
A sticker for your laptop?
Well, a dog is a big responsibility, though.
Yeah.
So...
Exactly, because we actually trust our audience. Do you think Tool is touring around right now and all they're selling is T-shirts and hoodies and stickers? You think they trust their audience?
Oh, so you're saying that we trust our audience more than
we trust our audience to be responsible, because the only type of person who would ever conceivably listen to a French-based dog modification podcast would have to be some sort of weirdo freak and someone who has to be somewhat responsible.
Huh. I guess I never sort of had that take. So, to clarify, Cameron, it's the Jock Doc Podcast, meaning... like jock, physical movement, like sports and, staying fit. And then doc as short for doctor.
Or show dogs.
Well, it's short for doctor. It's DOC.
No, I mean the sports part. Show dogs. That's a sport.
Yeah, for dogs maybe. But...
Okay, Jock Doc Podcast, not the Jock Dog Mod Fest. Okay, I got it. Pivoting.
Okay.
I got to change up a lot of our marketing, but sure, go ahead.
So, okay, this does bring me to one question. You've had, I have been hearing a lot of noises, like in your attic? Because I haven't seen these dogs, but I have heard a lot of scuffling and stuff in your attic.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a crime to have scuffling in your attic? Oh, I didn't realize that it was a crime for a doctor to overhear dogs scuffling.
Yeah, it was a lot of scuffling and rummaging around. You kept telling me that it was, I expected to hear like squirrels or something, but you said horses.
I said I didn't know.
Okay.
And so it could be anything such as a horse or a goat, because we don't know. There's no way to know.
Well, I think you did know is my point here, that you knew that it was those dogs because you've been collecting them, and I'm presumably putting them in your attic.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not keeping all these animals in my attic. They're very safe, and they're being fed, and they have plenty of room to run around.
Okay, well, I can hear them now.
No, what? Nope. They're out at the farm, and they're just running around, and they're very healthy, and they're not starving because I got too many of them.
Okay. I guess we can go ahead and move on. Let's see. Also with us is DJ Dill in the house. It's the Jock Doc Podcast. It's the Jock Doc Podcast. It's the Jock Doc Podcast. It's the Jock
Doc Podcast.
It's the Jock Doc Podcast. It's the Jock Doc Podcast.
But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. So this feedback comes to us from a stranger I briefly physically bumped into on the street. So I found the note where my wallet had been. So presumably this is listener feedback. The note says...
Oh, hey, wait. Stop talking. Shh.
Okay. Well,
I don't want to hear about this anymore. But you did say something about bumping into a stranger. That does remind me of the stranger you bumped into and that you went on a date with last week, right, Dr. London?
well, yeah, I don't think this podcast is the appropriate place to talk about it.
You don't think our audience would be more interested in hearing about that than about hearing about this poor patient that you're, breaking HIPAA to tell their private stories about?
Well, that was just a listener feedback that I was about. But okay, so I guess just to stifle this. So for Valentine's Day.
Oh, wait, it wasn't a patient story. It was a listener feedback.
Yeah.
Well, same principle.
So I did have a bit of it was a date, I guess. It was a little bit.
Why the reservation to call it a date?
Okay, so this is what happened. I have this guy Cecil who kind of just works odd jobs for me. He told me that there was the perfect one for me. And so we went out to dinner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which I know for you, I mean, tall, all arms, hair down to her arms.
So you've met her?
No, I just know your type.
Okay.
You don't think I know you, Dr. London?
Yeah, I guess.
Yellow eyes, the yellowest eyes.
Yeah, that does make me think you met her. So we went to dinner, and I guess I found myself talking a lot, which I don't like. I'd prefer to have an interaction, hear about their life, exchange stories, whatever. But
because the type of person who starts his own podcast is definitely not one who wants to talk all the time and wants to dominate the conversation.
Right.
It was thrust upon you that you must talk this much. Of course, go ahead.
Right. So I was having this meal, and she seemed delightful, this person. But they were also wearing like a trench coat, and kind of like weren't saying much. And so, I ordered for it was just silence.
Well, you keep saying not saying much. So what is your date? What is she saying?
Well, she didn't say anything for a long time.
Not a single thing. So how did this work out? Did you guys meet at the restaurant?
Yeah.
And you knew, so you got there, you saw this trench coat woman,
Right.
and you just walked over to her and just said hello. They didn't say anything, and then you just sat down.
Something to that effect. Yeah. And so, like, it was a lot of me trying to, because I get so nervous. So I'm just saying, like, are you so and so? Are you wanting to? And so then I suggest
you
things.
Puked. Did you puke in her food?
Okay. Well, I'm not to that part. So we get our food, and this is the first clue that I have that maybe Cecil didn't have the right thing in mind, because I see. So they're going after the food, which I had to order because they were dead silent for that part too. And gradually...
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of ladies like the man to order their food.
Yeah, and so it was some sort of fish dish. And so they're eating it, and once again, I feel like I'm doing all the talking, I'm trying to get them to talk. And then finally I hear meow. And and so I think they're doing like some sort of weird impression, and so I say like,
feisty.
Oh, yeah, I say meow back, and like, and so we had dinner. I did feel sick a little bit afterwards. I don't know if it's because I was like, oh, can I try some? And silence, and so I tried a little. I don't know if it was appropriate. Anyway, I thought it.
You ate part of their dish without getting permission first?
Well, it was
that is so, Dr. London. That is so rude. Are you going out with this person again, or?
I don't know, because so we left, and later on, okay, here's what I think happened. I think it, and this is gonna sound kind of strange, but it might have been a number of cats, like in a trench coat, if that makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense. What led you to that conclusion? Just the meow? I mean, you said meow back. That doesn't make you a cat.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, unless...
I think, well, like, physically, I thought... I didn't want to comment. Like, she needed to...
Hey, if you're a cat, you have to tell me.
Okay,
That's the law. You can't...
I'm not a cat.
You can't say you're not a... Okay.
I'm not a cat. But
okay.
Cecil knows that sometimes I can be more quiet and introverted, and like to read by windows, by windowsills.
Wait, and who the hell is the Cecil guy?
He's just my go-to guy.
How do you know him? I guess I thought I was your go-to guy. So how do you know this?
Well, no, he just
sort of doofusy type of figure.
He like in the evenings, he's the one who gets the milk for my milk baths.
Okay.
He's the guy who, whenever I go hunting for larger creatures, he's the one who gets, the harpoons and supplies like that.
Okay. This is a person?
From what I understand, yeah. And normally great recommendations from him. But,
kind of let you down this time.
Yeah, so anyway, this time Cecil introduced me to, well, not personally, but sad to meet here. The words he used was, let's see, something to the effect of like, perfect one for you. And so I just...
How was perfect spelled?
It was, he used words, but he did slur his speech.
Did he say perfect one for you?
He might have, yeah. Okay. And
okay. It's probably, I mean, it's got to be cats, though.
Yeah. So, well, and I think part of it was like, I kind of just see what I want to see whenever it comes to my dating life. And so
oh, you mean like Shallow Hal?
Yes, that's what I mean. And so in this case, the whole time I thought it was going pretty well, but really it might have just been a lot of cats sort of stacked maybe with a trench coat maybe on top. Thinking back, it's bizarre to me how I fell for that.
So if this is the shallow how, could it be that your date is a real woman, but you see them as three cats stacked on top of each other so that you learn not to be judgmental towards, I guess, sort of
Cats
shaped like people. Yeah.
Maybe. Now Cecil has said that like he heard that it went well. That's what he said the next day. So
okay.
He kept winking at me a lot and kind of nudging me. So I guess it went well. But now, like, obviously I feel some conflict about it. Talking it out now, I realize it probably was just some cats that I brought, which makes sense. The waiting staff.
Well, you're not gonna like everyone on your first date, and so I think it's the responsible thing to just to take her out one more time.
Yeah.
I would say maybe bring one of those little like fancy feast treats, the little like small little heart-shaped sort of treats, and just have that on your body. And if the person kind of collapses into 3 or more cats going for the treats, then you know.
Yeah, I guess to some extent it just all makes me feel kind of dumb, because I really do, I'm looking for someone, but I do I see potential in people. I guess that's my problem. And sometimes I assume that the potential is who they already are, that kind of thing. Maybe that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you do sound crazy.
Okay.
But I think that's irrelevant to this story.
Okay. Well, in any case, I guess we can go ahead and move on from there. And to that listener who replaced, my wallet with a note, we'll try to address your concerns later. And now for a tale from surgery. We had a patient present with gastrointestinal issues reminiscent of intestinal obstruction. A common cause of such obstructions can be adhesions from previous surgeries, and that can be like little soft tissue attachments that are formed between different parts of the intestinal tract after experiencing the trauma of surgery. So this patient, rather than having a history of surgery, instead they claimed that while serving in the military, he had been near so many explosions and essentially been knocked around so much that he had potentially acquired those same sorts of adhesions that one normally obtains through surgery. So it was a very odd thing to hear. Now for today's medical topic.
Wait, that's the whole thing?
Yeah, that's the whole... Yeah.
The whole thing is that this guy was around explosions?
Well, to the extent that it was potentially causing some gastrointestinal issues that you only get from previous surgeries.
So it's like a military form of stigmata.
No,
so instead of developing through a miracle like the wounds of Christ, you develop the wounds of, I mean, I don't know, Julius Caesar. Did he have, gas issues?
No, so it's blockage. That's what I'm describing. Like your intestines, parts of your intestine being like sort of drawn
like
together.
Constipated.
So I don't think it's that comparable to stigmata.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I wouldn't make fun of a veteran with stigmata, but that's, it's your show.
Right. Now for today's medical topic, chronic venous insufficiency.
Intestigmata.
Okay.
Like an intestine.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
So chronic venous insufficiency, also referred to as post-phlebitic syndrome or venous stasis disease. So chronic venous insufficiency is when destruction of venous valves in the legs results in gravitational pressure of the blood column to be transmitted from higher in the legs down to the ankles. Valves in the perforator veins are also damaged secondary to the chronically elevated deep venous pressures. So this inhibits transmission of blood from superficial veins to deep veins, which is what normally occurs. This leads to ambulatory venous hypertension or increased blood pressure in the veins. which has two undesirable effects. Okay, Cameron, I'm hearing those dogs again.
Huh?
I'm hearing the dogs.
Oh, no. It's the Jock Dog Pod. It's not Dog Mod. We changed it.
Yeah, so I'm saying that I can hear the dogs that are, I assume, in your attic.
Oh, all right, keep going.
Okay, so the increased blood pressure in the veins of the leg, this has two undesirable effects. The first effect is interstitial fluid accumulation resulting in edema, and the second effect is extravasation of plasma proteins and red blood cells into subcutaneous tissues. This results in brawny induration and pigmentation, or a brown-black color of skin. This eventually leads to reduced local capillary blood flow and hypoxia of tissues. So even mild trauma to these areas may lead to tissue death and ulcer formation. Okay, Cameron, I'm still hearing a lot over there.
Huh?
I'm still hearing a lot. Like, what is it? How many dogs did you acquire?
Dr. London, I'm going to be honest. It's not just dogs. It's a hell of a lot of animals. I kind of had a vision for this podcast, thinking we were going to, since it was an animal related podcast, that we could branch out into sort of spin-off podcasts, and it's become just sort of. It's a zoo. It's an uncontrollable zoo.
Well,
and I don't know what to do about it, and I'm very mad about it.
Huh. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I have more to share here. So clinically,
oh God,
chronic venous insufficiency presents with a swelling of the outer leg, which can be relieved by leg elevation. And as a side note, the opposite is true of arterial insufficiency. Chronic changes include skin becoming shiny and thin, along with darkening color changes, as I mentioned. To treat, the focus is on periods of leg elevations during the day and throughout the night to a level above the heart. Is that a lion?
Oh God. Just keep going.
Okay. You can also treat by, avoiding long periods of sitting or standing, and you can use heavyweight elastic stockings like knee length, and those can be worn during waking hours. If ulcers develop, these have to be managed with wet to dry saline dressings 3 times daily, along with external compression stockings, which are also.
All right, I gotta admit, that was going to be our first spin-off, and it was going to be the Jock Elephant Mod podcast.
You went straight from dog to elephant.
Yeah, the Jock Elephant Mod Fest.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of a pun. Like, you can do like Jock Trunk, mod.
That's closer.
Fest, but the principle is the same. It's modifying, kind of customizing your own elephant.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But they don't like me at all, and I don't really play with them, which I think is part of the reason they're pissed off. And I give them all the stuff that I know to give them. I give the elephants peanuts like I see in cartoons. And, I give the lions, like whatever they ate in Lion King, probably apples or something. I never saw that movie.
Grubs? I feel like that's...
Oh, yeah, that was part of it. So
taught.
I give all the lions grubs. And, it's just a mess, but I'm figuring it out. And I've gotten in too deep, and I don't know what to do. But you continue your little show.
Okay, so we're nearly done here. So, let's see. For ulcers that do not heal with external compression stockings, you apply split thickness skin grafts with or without ligation of adjacent perforator veins. So that's all sort of about this chronic venous insufficiency. It's where just that those veins, the valves, stop working properly, and so people get these darkened legs. All right. Okay, it sounds like it quieted down, Cameron.
Yeah, I think we're in the... Oh, God. I forgot about the monkeys. Dr. London.
Okay, well, just do you have a bat around here? We like not that kind of bat. The kind for hitting.
Okay, truce.
Can you?
Okay, I think we've entered a truce. They're going back into the room.
And all you had to do was yell truce?
I guess. I should have tried this earlier.
Huh. All right. Cameron, did you say that we have a guest today?
We sure do, Dr. London.
Okay. Hello there.
Hi,
Hi, your name's
Charles Grossman.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you. My name is drlondonsmith.com.
Thank you.
And this is my producer Cameron.
Hi.
Hi, Cameron. And
Thank you for joining us.
thank you, Dr. London, and thank you, Cameron. I'm really excited. I'm enthusiastic. I'm just really looking forward to sharing all of my knowledge and learning more from you.
Oh, that's great. So, Mr. Grossman, is it all right if I call you that?
Sure, Mr. Grossman's perfect. My nickname is I'm known as Chad.
Okay.
Okay.
I live in the Northeast. I'm actually south of Boston. I do cold yoga with hot bodies on the south coast of Massachusetts. Very close to the
Okay.
Fall River, if you ever heard of it.
Cold yoga with hot bodies.
Yes. We're
So
all Go ahead.
this is sort of the anti-hot yoga?
Well, we're trying to be confident and also ignore inclement weather. I think when you
Okay.
can really focus on yourself, you don't feel the cold.
Okay.
Is that so? I mean, is that something that you would say has held true? Is that a belief that as you've practiced this, you don't feel cold?
Absolutely. I will go to the gym and you see everyone trying to warm up and stretch and things, but that doesn't help all the time. Sometimes your body needs to chill. And that's why we'll do cold yoga outside on the beach. It's a great way to not just practice yoga, but also forget everything in your life because you're just trying to stay warm.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, so I mean, is this similar to the Polar Bear Club? Do you get in the water? You're already at the beach. Is the water involved at all? I mean, it's freezing, sure, but
The water's for meditative aspects. I used to be in the Polar Bear Club. I'm not anymore.
Oh,
Ooh,
were you kicked
it's-
out? I'm sorry, I
Well-
shouldn't ask like that, but
Well, it's complicated, but they
I-
disagree with my philosophy on exercise.
okay.
I'm not a fan of wearing clothing, and they wear bathing suits when they're at the beach.
yeah, I mean, that really doesn't sound complicated at all. That was incredibly easy to explain.
Yeah, well, maybe
they don't
there
want-
was some
they
history
don't wanna
between people.
Uh-huh.
Bad words were said. It's just kind of difficult because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I'm just, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take a guess here. Were the words that were said, put on some clothes?
The bad
yeah.
words?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that kind of it?
It went a little bit farther. Someone wore a cape with those words. And the last cold yoga we had, they ran around us with their cape saying those words out loud.
Oh, okay. Like a
Wow.
taunt. or
Yeah,
a
oh my
mocking
God.
you.
Billy, he is a piece of work. And sorry, I won't get into it, but
So I mean, it sort of sounds like the Polar Bear Club's rules about clothing. It's less to do with indecency and more to do with I guess a culture of bullying within the Polar Bear Club.
oh my God, it is so restrictive. And they try and control everything. I would just like to be free. I would like to be confident in myself. Even if it's warm outside, I think that's important.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
So-
can I ask? Sorry, Dr. Linda, one question, just real quick. I mean, what are you wearing right now? And I don't mean that in a saucy way. I mean, just I feel like it's relevant.
I'm wearing a pair of socks. It's specifically because my feet are cold, and
Okay.
I didn't turn on the heat today, and I have a thing with walking on the floor without some kind of protective thing. Floors are so dirty. So
Right.
And Cameron asks because for this portion of the podcast, he usually puts on a blindfold because he says it's too much stimulation.
yeah, no, I get it.
And
I
so,
respect.
Well, yeah, and we keep the studio like incredibly dark.
yeah, that's also true.
This
which-
sounds very free.
Yeah, in a sense it is.
Yeah.
So one thing you said kind of stuck out to me. Like it was sort of just a hypothetical presented on an earlier episode of this podcast where we had a guest on who's sort of a fitness guru, and he mentioned a guy named Chad who's from the Northeast. I don't know, it's sort of a funny coincidence. I know you said you only go by Chad. Your name isn't actually Chad. So
That's just my nickname.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So no relation then.
No, none whatsoever. No.
Okay.
No,
Good, just making sure.
There's I heard that episode. Yeah, there was nothing, no connections, none whatsoever.
Oh, well, thank you for listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
How was
thank
I
you.
on it?
You
Was
were
I pretty good?
You were amazing.
Yes.
The way you
I knew it.
took- Dr. London, I do feel bad for you though, because it felt like you were being teamed up, and I know what that feels like. I know it to the core of my soul.
Oh,
How do
because
you-
yeah.
Well, how do you know that?
I listened
Feeling.
to that episode and I felt cornered by how you and John were treating Dr. London.
But how do you said you sort of relate to that feeling in your own life? I mean, is it something you feel cornered on in real life?
It really was. Maybe John and I have some prior tension between us
Oh, so
when I heard his voice.
you knew that guest. I was just kind of, that was a shot in the dark, more or less. You've met fitness guru John.
It's possible. I've never been west of the Mississippi, so I don't know about his climbing and this latissimus dorsi that he speaks of, but I'm pretty sure he was my club leader at the Polar Bear Club.
Okay, well,
Way too much, I
one thing
apologize.
that came up at that time for our listeners who haven't heard that one, he also had not been to, the Grand Canyon or any of those things. So, as far as I know, this actually does track.
Okay.
So what brings you on the podcast, Chad? What brought you here today?
Well, you've talked a lot about really good medical terminology, and I am very passionate about fitness and being confident in our bodies and healthy at every size. So I wanted to come here and be an advocate about yoga and its benefits, and
Okay.
also this new concept called bakery fit. I think it has a place in our culture, in our society, and bakery fit's really what I want to talk about with being confident with our body.
And I don't know what bakery fit is yet, but I do agree. And if you're going to describe it here in a second and Dr. London starts to disagree, disregard him. I'm just going to say that up front because that seems to be a consistent theme
Okay.
with our guests is the lack of respect that Dr. London has for our guests. So you got to tell me. Well, what do you got?
Look,
Dr.
I was, rather than start out with the assumption of contention, I just like to say, I have not heard of, I've heard of yoga. familiar with that. I like to go to yoga sometimes. Great for, relaxing, but also working different parts of your body, different muscle groups that aren't always worked, stretching them out. So I
commit right now to endorsing, what was it called?
Bakery
Fit.
Yeah.
Commit to endorsing it right now, Dr. London.
Yeah, so I'm just not sure about it yet.
Endorse it. Say you like it.
Yes.
Say you love it. Show some support to our guests for once.
Be confident.
Do it.
Do this.
Do it.
I can't.
Come on.
Exactly.
You got it. Say you love it. Say it's your best thing. Say it's your favorite thing in the world.
Well, Chad,
I support you.
What is Bakery Fit?
Bakery Fit is the best thing you will probably ever have in your life.
I agree, and we endorse it on the Jock Doc podcast. Go
Yeah.
ahead and describe it.
Oh, you're awesome, Cameron. Now I know why they corner up on Dr. London all the time. Oh my God. Bakery Fit is probably, we have these things called workouts of the day where you're supposed to do like push-ups and move heavy objects and pick them up. What if you just needed to go up the stairs twice? And then you could be done with your workout. Bakery Fit's more about being acceptable and sometimes enjoying cookies or a cake or muffins, things like that.
So and I don't want to assume if you're not done describing it, but it sounds like you're presenting a hypothetical, I guess, world where rather than doing, regular fitness, weight training and cardio, jogging, lifting weights, that sort of thing, the alternative that you're presenting is this hypothetical world where if you climb stairs twice and then just ate whatever you want out of a bakery, then that you're proposing that second option as being the best option.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like a low key, exercise. You don't have to go to a bakery to eat, but it's kind of supported.
Is generally using the stairs twice, is that to go to and then from the bakery?
See, that's the beauty of it. You can set your goals wherever you need to. Bakery Fit it's a lifestyle.
So it really does sound like you're going down the stairs, going to the bakery, coming back, going back up the stairs, and declaring that's exercise. That sounds pretty good to me, and I like how realistic it is, and I like how flexible it is.
Oh, yeah. You don't use the elevator, too. You save energy. Bye-bye climate change. That's right.
Oh, wow.
Goodbye electric bill. Your rent's going to go down, too. Because you took the stairs to the bakery.
That I spend so much per month on the electricity used by my elevator in my house. That makes so much sense. Dr. London, are you ready to endorse this?
Well, so hypothetically, if this workout were to be adequate to, be the exercise that a person needs in a week, just as you referenced, Chad, it sounds like it might not be adequate for maintaining, physical health. Does that make sense?
You're saying it's not. You're saying it's not going to. You're not going to maintain your health if you're walking all the way down the stairs, driving to the bakery, buying like a whole cheesecake and maybe some brownies and get some bread while you're there, taking all that back.
Right.
Walking all the way back up the stairs and eating, 3,000, 4,000 calories worth of bakery items. Yeah. You're saying that's like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, see,
the Jock Talk podcast is fully behind the Bakery Fit.
Oh, Cameron, you're starting to make wicked good sense to me.
So the thing is, you presented some normal fitness ideas, some that I see some scientific backing to, the yoga and stuff, that's good.
Yeah.
This kind of exercise. But I feel as if putting in extra calories and then not burning those calories through exercise, like that you're just going to be putting on weight, essentially. That, whatever you eat at the bakery is going to turn into fat rather than muscle. Do you see the issue there?
There's a possible issue, but if you've ever been to a bakery, sometimes they're out of the bad food. So you might have to buy the good.
Yep,
Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, so it's a bakery. So by bad food, do you mean like they're out of cookies or donuts or something,
Yeah.
and they only have bread?
Whole wheat bread.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
the healthiest thing you can have.
Yeah. With sesame seeds on top. Those are seeds. They're healthy. You can make choices too at a bakery, and that's the best part.
Well, and I like to take like a big loaf of wheat bread,
Okay.
like whole wheat, whole grain, just great bread. Cut it in half, longwise,
Yeah.
and then on one side I slather it up with butter, organic butter.
Okay.
So
okay.
healthy.
Grass-fed is too.
And then on the other side, I add organic, healthy cheese, bacon, ham, turkey, roast beef, salami, and mayonnaise and mustard.
Oh, perfect.
And salt and pepper. And then I double that. Everything I just said, I do it again. And I eat that after doing, this is what's crazy. I didn't even know about this exercise, and yet I've already been doing it. That's what makes this amazing.
Yeah.
I've already been doing this exercise.
And here's the thing. If you chew longer, you digest that food better. You burn more calories.
Whoa.
Bakery.
Wow.
Is this okay? Because I have seen Cameron take on this diet. Now he uses a fryer. He puts that sandwich into a fryer afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that part of the diet as well? The exercise regimen, I guess is what you're calling it?
Well, it depends. Is the fryer in a bakery or not? You know?
I think at this point you would have to describe my kitchen as a bakery, like
Okay.
legally.
Okay. Perfect.
Because you make sandwiches in it.
And because financial transactions go down in there. And so I think for legal purposes, it needs to be listed as something. I think a bakery makes the most sense.
That fits for me. That's awesome. Oh, man. Must be a
Okay.
tasty bakery.
So Chad, what have you seen benefits from this particular once again, calling it an exercise regimen sounds odd because it just sounds like it's heavy on carbs and minimal exercise and you take in a lot of calories.
Yeah.
But
Would you be willing to call it a transformative exercise experience?
It's part of the transformation. Why do you think cold yoga works so well? We've got a decent amount of insulation, and it allows us to stay outside and still be free.
Wow. So, Dr. London, can you agree that while you are unable to use the words exercise program or exercise regimen, that you can say it is a wonderful and incredible transformative exercise experience? Go ahead and say that. DJ Dylan, you got this?
so I haven't tried this exercise regimen. So I haven't seen any studies on it, so I can't really endorse it. You know, there has to be some evidence-based recommendation. Do you see what I mean?
Well, your evidence is sitting right in front of you, Dr. London.
Yeah,
You can
so
study
Chad,
this.
Oh, wow. And he's really flexing his,
Yeah. Yeah.
not abs.
well, the abs are coming out a lot from under the shirt.
It's but like one at a time, almost like a whack-a-mole.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and when I say abs, I do just mean the abdominal fat. Well, abs is short for abdominal fat. In this
and
case.
just picture a six-pack, and then picture only seeing one pack at a time poking through
and the
on a sort of rotation. And
each
then when
pack is
then
very
when you slap it a
large.
little, it goes back down.
Yeah.
Sorry. Little gas
No,
there.
no, that fine.
Yeah,
So
but that's the musculature. You know?
see what I'm seeing with that isn't so much the muscle. What I'm able to visualize here is fat, not muscle. Does that make sense?
Okay, well then maybe we can adjust here. Maybe we can compromise a little. You have issues with the exercise regimen. Is there anything, Dr. London, that you would suggest to maybe improve it and kind of make it a little better?
Yeah, so I would recommend as a basic thing, let's say cardiovascular exercise. So the exercise regimen that you have, as far as I can tell, is mostly diet based. And so I would say instead
of
of
walking,
and
the stairs,
twice up the stairs. So I would say either a lot more of that stairs walking, or just go jogging and do that for several times a week. I think.
No.
5 or
You're
more times a
changing the
week.
no. You're changing the exercise experience too much. You're adjusting it too much. It needs to retain the heart of the original exercise. You can improve upon it, but you're just giving him another exercise. That's completely different.
I feel like it changes the whole nature of bacon.
So, that you're saying, here's how you improve the exercise. Do something else, like do a different exercise that's not related. That's
I was saying
helpful.
To add to it. So you're saying I should advise subtracting from what's already there?
No, you're not adding anything.
Yeah, I'm
You're
adding.
just saying do a different thing. You're saying pivot to something else. This would be adding, for example, while you're at the bakery, buy as many items as you possibly can. That's going to add weight when you're carrying it up the stairs, right?
And that weight is important when you're trying to convince people. There is weight behind those credible statements.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
and so you're carrying, I want to say 120 to 200 pounds worth of bakery goods that you carry up the stairs. That's going to build muscle.
That it will.
And so I think we've established that this new and improved version of the Bakery Fit is going to be endorsed by the Jock Dog podcast. The Jock Dog Mod Fest. Or which is it?
It's the Jock Dog podcast. But
right. And with that is, thank you for saying that. And then say the next words, endorse.
So what you're describing as an improvement on the original is just buying more at the bakery?
Yes.
More weight.
Because then you can share it.
Focus on the heaviest foods. Mm-hmm. Broccoli.
Extremely heavy.
Is broccoli available?
Sugar.
Depends on the bakery. Some bakeries, they do sell broccoli. I don't know many.
Cans of soda.
Okay, well...
There's probably some soda there. You get some 12 packs of soda.
Yeah.
That's going to add weight.
Some Diet Pepsi.
I don't know. Cheeses. Cheese can
Very
be heavy.
Important.
Let's see. Bakery. I guess I don't know, like one of those cakes that you hide like strippers in.
See, there's exercise right there. That gets cardiovascular activity very fast.
Well,
you're gonna gain
heart rate.
You're gonna gain some muscle if you are carrying a cake that has a stripper in it.
Yes, you'll need
up the stairs.
You'll need a dolly for that because that's gonna be
the stripper alone is gonna be 120 pounds.
Yeah, and then all of the sequins and stuff, the clothing with the fancy shiny things. That's gonna add at least another
so much weight.
Yeah.
All right, I do want to hear. Are there any other exercises that you have that you're working out, kind of working on?
Yes. Well, you can do Bakery Fit, but you can also do Bakery Fit group exercise, which is more of like I brought all of this stuff up the stairs. Now I can share it with someone. So, in case Dr. London, you're with your second date, you can share your food and say, "I've done this exercise and I feel better in shape. Would you like a croissant?"
And, well, I guess in my case, I would say the second date, I don't know if my date would be into bread items as much as, I guess, fish.
Okay.
Fish seems to be the main draw for my particular date.
Well, maybe there's
you can get some milk.
Oh, yeah.
Get some tuna, get a glass of milk while you're at the bakery.
There's got to be milk at a bakery. How could you not have cookies and milk as a combination? So
that's true.
And generally coffee is also sold at a bakery, so you need milk with coffee. adds to the calorie derivative of the uh, intake in question.
Right. And
Yeah.
coffee is also, it's been found to be helpful,
Oh
like
my
it's
goodness.
generally good for your health. So that part I'm not contesting. It is
Okay, so your issue is with the sharing? That's what I'm hearing? It's the sharing.
See?
You think exercise
Yeah.
you think exercise programs, Dr. London, shouldn't have sharing involved?
I'm of the opinion, especially for people like Chad here, maybe decreasing the calorie intake.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You're
Portion
against sharing.
control.
All right, what else?
Sharing-
Do you have any other exercises?
Yeah. I also do something called the up, down, sit down. And it's sort of a complex exercise routine, but it takes a lot of time to execute. It's
Okay, describe it as if a dog was going to do it.
okay. So if I have just, released the dogs from my attic and they're running around crazy, the first thing that I'll need to do is grab their attention. You have to focus
Uh-huh.
when you're doing this exercise. And you will take a piece of ham, a piece of bacon, maybe a bakery item, and you will place it
Okay.
near a chair. And then you will instruct that dog to go to that chair, sit, and eat that piece of ham.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the exercise you're describing is feeding your pet?
It's sitting down and having a bite to eat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So just explaining as if I were with my dogs.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I just love these because these are all things that I'm already naturally doing. This is so
Right.
great because the biggest issue with exercise is having to set a time aside during the day
Right?
to do it.
Oh my goodness.
But this is just all stuff that I'm already eating.
And
I'm already buying all
Mhm.
these lunch meats and whatnot at the bakery
Yeah.
and sitting down and eating this stuff.
Yeah. And if you got up and got down many times, that might almost be considered a squat.
Absolutely.
Mind blown.
yeah, depending on the method by which you do sit down, it could be considered a squat. Not that likely, I guess, because Cameron, you normally eat in a bed, right?
Well, yeah, that's the only piece of furniture I have in my house.
Yeah. So for that, normally you just lay across it to eat.
There's all sorts of different ways. You can use pillows to sort of create a little bit of a chair. You can do something I call the panini, which is when you lay down a bunch of pillows on the length of your bed, but there's sort of gaps in between them. And so you lay on it, and it's sort of like the up and down ridges on a panini.
I'm sure there's a lot of heat in that exercise.
There is. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you consider that to be an exercise as well?
Oh, yeah. God, I feel so great in the morning when I'm done
Dr.
with my
London.
exercise.
Movement is life.
Well, it's
Movement is life.
laying down in bed doesn't sound like an exercise to me.
Well, I'm rotating the whole time like
Mhm.
a hot dog at a gas station.
Oh, you mean you roll over in your sleep?
Yeah, I'm just constantly rotating.
Okay.
I don't know how clear of a picture I can paint than a hot dog at a gas station.
Wow. Cameron,
Right.
you sound like a very dynamic fellow.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have any other exercises for us, Chad? Because the vibe that I'm getting here, my understanding from what you've said so far, is that most of your exercises are mostly just
Bakery based.
Well, just food based. Most of your
Do you
exercises.
I'm going to ask, this might be a long shot. Do you own a bakery?
I have invested in a few, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But my main job is getting this brand out. And really
And what was your last name?
Grossman. Charles
Grossman.
Chad, for sure.
And that has roots with the Panera family, right?
Yes.
Huh.
Okay, I think this is maybe making a little more sense. Still good advice, though.
I think it's definitely got a lot of potential.
I think also a lot of bakery items is going to help out a lot of our gluten-free listeners.
Yeah.
Because I've said this before on the podcast. I'm of the belief that the best way to get over an allergy or a reaction that you have to something is by consuming it excessively and constantly.
The easiest
way
is exposure.
it's like building your immune system.
Yes. Your immune
Exposure,
system
yeah,
needs to know
exactly.
how to react to it. You have to expose yourself to as many things as possible, many allergens. And that's what
And so if
baking is also about.
you're eating a gallon of bread a day,
Yeah.
of course it's going to work out.
One of the regimens for allergen deprivation therapy, which has never been clinically tested, but at least for me, eat a gallon of bread, at least a gallon of bread. And what that does is your immune system finds out what it is, and it's like, oh, I can handle it.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
eat a gallon of bread?
Yeah, it's got to be
How-
measured in volume, unfortunately.
Yeah, how can we make that clear, Dr. London?
Yeah.
Normally, it's in whatever grams or kilograms or whatever.
Well, you're not even willing to endorse this wonderful man's wonderful exercise routine. Why would anyone trust you at this point?
I guess I'm more about evidence based, and this sounds like it's contrary to. So, well, and just the fact that we keep calling it exercise when it sounds like it's just diet.
Movement is life, and that's exercise right there.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good time to bring it to a close here.
Okay.
But
I don't want to give away all my secrets.
right, and I'm sure we'd maybe if we fine tune this a little bit, like maybe include more weightlifting and cardiovascular exercise, we could revisit this idea.
I'll consider it.
Because I will say, a lot of these big celebrities who get very fit for their roles, they do consume, 3,000 to 5,000 calories, for their meals in a day.
Michael Phelps.
So I can understand how,
Phelps had a 10,000 calorie a day diet, Dr. London.
Yeah,
we can
it's-
even have 3 or 4.
So I'm just saying that with the right amount of exercise, depending on your body type, then that can be, what you're advising can be helpful, but you have to include the exercise with it, if that makes sense.
You might have to move a little, but that's what being bakery fit's about. We want to be fit as well as bakery.
Right. Okay. Well, in any case, thank you, Chad, Mr. Charles Grossman.
Thank you, Dr. London and Cameron. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share my thoughts, and this is really a great place and a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you to Cameron, as always, for being the producer here.
And the real doctor.
Cameron,
Boom.
man.
Twist.
No. So I'm the doctor on this.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm
just trying to have some fun.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you also to Digital in the House. I'm Dr. Lennon Smith. I endorse this exercise regimen. My name is drlondonsmith.com. This has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.
He chuckled. Surely this deranged man was not requesting what it sounded like. This deranged lunatic. They could not be serious. But as a faithful employee at such a prestigious fast food establishment, there was not really much opportunity to argue. After all, the customer is always right. Hands trembling slightly, you reach for an extra large cup. You put it up to the first carbonated beverage dispenser, and it begins to pour. But you pull back after it fills up only a portion of the cup. You begin filling from the next dispenser, then once again stop short, and then move on. The cup is visibly shaking in your hands now, and a hush falls over the eating establishment in a mix of shock, horror, and a sick sense of humor. You move the cup to the next dispenser. The new employee vomits as he takes in the scene. You finish filling the cup with the last beverage and cautiously put a lid on the cup, sealing in the contents of the fabled drink. The suicide. Then, tears streaming down your cheeks, you wipe off the sides of the cup with a napkin and hand it to the customer. And speaking of giving the people what they want, have you shared the Jock Doc podcast with a friend or extremely distant relative? Just send them a link to your favorite episode or text them our handy website, jockdocpodcast.com, which has links to major podcast platforms. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a 5-star review with a description of your favorite beverage, no matter how crazy it is. And be sure to yell at us on social media. We are at JockDogPodcast, and we love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.